going to hear a lot of rain because, well, it's raining. It's actually storming. So, take a little look. Just gotta make sure I'm extra careful. But I'm it's a couple days late actually. I'm a couple days late. The Saints did beat the New York Giants. I felt like they would. That was arguably one of the most boring football games I have ever watched. I don't know if it's the most boring, but it's one of the most boring football games I have ever watched or that I can remember. This one's probably up there with that Thanksgiving game against Buffalo, or even the Denver game earlier this year, or the Miami game on Monday Night Football, a game that I was at. This was a very boring football game. So, yeah, there was nothing that I was impressed about on either side of the ball with the team. And I don't mean to come on and try to start pointing out the negatives, but I don't think there's any takeaways from this game other than it was good to see Kendre Miller score a touchdown. That was a good thing. Aside from that, I mean, Brian Brzee seems to be a very pivotal piece to this team going forward for the future, so that's a good thing. But aside from that, not much to really take away from this game. It was a very ugly game. Both teams looked like crap for the most part. And, I mean, it is what it is. The Saints mathematically are still alive for the playoffs, but I anticipate, given the circumstance... Oh, crap, dude. As I mentioned, man, it's freaking storming, and I'm just driving through this freaking rain. My car is pretty low, so just gotta be careful. Anyway, given the circumstances, I expect the Saints to be eliminated next week. Technically, if they won, they would not be eliminated. However, I feel like I don't think they're going to win. I don't think they're going to win. I think they're going to probably get smacked by Washington. I think this game can get very ugly very fast. As I've been saying all year long, dude, like, really, in a lot of games, I feel like the only chance we have is if our defense gets turnovers and keeps us in the game. But even then, it's you're going to be playing either Rattler or Jake Haener, and I'll be completely honest. I would like to see Jake Haener. You had 3 games with Rattler, okay? I get it. The team was not healthy, but you had 3 games with him. I don't think... I mean, you gotta see what you got in Jake Haener, dude. Give Jake Haener a full game to show you what he is capable of. I'm not saying it's going to be good. However, you got to give him a fair shot. So I do think that Skyline, you're right about that, buddy. I'm gonna put on my seatbelt. I do think he deserves at least a start to see what he can make of. And if he comes out and somehow beats Washington with this crap that we have, then I think you really got to reevaluate everything, dude. I think you really got to reevaluate everything. I mean, I don't think I've seen enough of Jake Haener. I think the only thing I've seen from him is garbage time. That's about it. So, yeah, Snakebite, I'm thinking about starting him, dude. I'm thinking about starting Jaden Daniels in a league that it's week 15 is the final week, and I need a win to get in the playoffs. It's either him or Josh Allen. It's going to be hard not to start Josh Allen, but I don't think Josh Allen's going to duplicate what he did last week, which, by the way, got me 51. 51 in 2 leagues, man. That was great to see. But with that being said, I am thinking about starting Jaden Daniels. However, as I was saying, I want to see Jake Haener start this week. I think you got to see what you got with him. I don't think Rattler's going to do anything if you put him in. I don't see it happening. Start Jake. Start Jake. I would say go out there and see what kind of quarterback you got that's a free agent right now. I mean, I hear Daniel Jones is with the Vikings, or he's signing with the Vikings. I'm not even going to lie to y'all, dude. I would go pick up Daniel Jones. I'd be okay with that. And have him start the rest of the season, or whatever, somebody that has experience. But with all that being said, that's you're kind of looking at, you know, if you're gonna try to make a run and win out and hope that other teams around you lose, which I don't think that's gonna happen anyway. But I mean, to give yourself a shot, you know, to keep yourself alive for another week, you know, mathematically, I mean, I think you either got to start Jake Haener or you got to try to see what's out there, you know. So that's my opinion. And I mean, if you beat Washington, if you beat Washington, that could potentially be another path of playoff hope that you can potentially be alive for. They're the number 7 seed currently. If you beat them, you'd have the tiebreaker. All you would need for them to do is lose 2 games. I get it. There's a lot of other teams in that mix too, but, you know, you get my point. If you want to keep your season alive for another week, I think you either got to start Jake Haener or you have to sign a quarterback. Sign yourself a quarterback. I think they just signed Danucci, whatever. I'm not going to lie, dude. I'd start Danucci, Ben Danucci, whatever his name is. Davici, I don't know. I'd start him. Put him out there, dude. What you got to lose? Oh, Snakebite, you're going to the game? Cool. Yeah, Jerry, dude. I mean, I said after we lost to them in week 4, I didn't think Atlanta was that good. And, I mean, now it pretty much confirms it. Dude, I don't think the Falcons are done losing. I mean, I'll be completely honest. The Saints, I mean, if they play their cards right, if they get about 2, if they finish 8-9, if the Saints manage to finish 8-9, which I don't think that's happening, because that would mean you'd have to win either Green Bay or Washington, Tampa Bay too, probably. But if the Saints somehow finished 8-9, I think they could probably jump the Falcons in the division. So, yeah, I think Tampa Bay's got that division pretty locked up. I mean, I think if anything, you're going to see a scenario week 18 where the Saints can play spoiler for Tampa Bay, and I think in that scenario, I would want to win just to avenge that playoff game a few years ago. You know, they end our season. It would be kind of cool to at least end their season. So I think that would be pretty cool, but I mean, other than that, I think Tampa Bay is going to end up winning the division. So, in order for the Saints to make the playoffs, and this is counting that they win out, okay? If the Saints were to win out, here's what would have to happen. Tampa Bay would have to lose 3 out of their final 4 games, and obviously one of those games would have to be against the Saints. The thing of it is, does Tampa Bay have to lose the final 3 games necessarily? No. But the only other path, if they don't lose the final 3 games, would be that they would have to lose the last 2 games, which would be against Carolina and the Saints, because those are division opponents. So Tampa Bay cannot lose to the Chargers and lose to us. And even though our records would be tied, they would still have the tiebreaker based on their NFC record. They would have a better NFC record, that is. Also, even if Tampa Bay loses to, like, Dallas in a few weeks and they lose to us, even though our NFC records would be tied, if we both finished 9-8, Tampa Bay had a more difficult schedule than the Saints, so they would win that tiebreaker. I already did the math. I looked into it. Tampa Bay has to lose. If they're going to lose only 2 more and the Saints were to win out and the Saints were to, win the division, Tampa Bay would have to lose to Carolina, and then they would have to lose to the Saints. Other than that, Tampa Bay's got to lose 3 out of the last 4. So ideally, you'd probably be looking at a loss to the Chargers, a loss to Dallas next week, which that's a Sunday night game. I don't think that should be a Sunday night game anymore. Anyway, that's beside the point. And they would have to lose to us on Sunday Night Football. So there's your scenario with that. Atlanta would have to lose 2 more games. So they would have to lose to either, and they can lose any 2 games, it doesn't matter. All I know is that even if you tie with Atlanta at 9-8, you still don't have the division record over them because they have 4 division wins. And the Saints can only get 3, max. So you need Atlanta to lose 2 games. So ideally, in order for the Saints to win the division, you got to win out. You need Tampa Bay likely to lose 3 out of 4. The only way they can lose 2 out of 4 is if they lose their final 2, which are division games. That way the Saints would have a better division record than them. And you would need Atlanta to lose any 2 of their final 4. And I personally think their best chances to lose any 2 of the final 4, I would say, is this week at the Raiders. I think the Raiders are a sneaky team. They've been playing, although they've been losing, they've been playing decent. I mean, they had Tampa Bay down up 14-10. They were only down 4 going into the 4th quarter of that game. So that's a sneaky game for Atlanta. And I think they'd have to lose to Washington as well. No. No, JP. The Saints and Tampa Bay do not play Sunday Night Football the last week of the season. It's possible. It can happen. It can happen if Atlanta implodes and continues to lose. If Tampa Bay loses 2 more before we get to that game, or if they lose to Carolina and we keep winning. Then I think if both teams go in there in the week 18 with the division on the line and it's Saints Tampa Bay, I think that game would be Sunday night. Correct, Snakebite. That's what it is right now. Does it still have the potential to be flexed? Yeah. A lot would need to happen, including the Saints winning. And likely, more than not, you're going to be playing with Jake Haener as your quarterback. I hate the rain, dude. This rain is kind of irritating me, dude. Jerry, I agree with that. Atlanta's not winning the Super Bowl. They're not winning a Super Bowl. Not happening. Sorry to bust your bubble, but it's not happening. But those are the scenarios. If the Saints wanted to get in as a wild card, as the 7th seed, they would have to have, obviously they'd have to beat Washington. And if they beat Washington, a team that leads the wild card, that would open a door for them. However, they would need some help with the NFC West. That NFC West, everybody in that division can still make any one of them can still make the playoffs. Let alone all 4 of them would technically be ahead of the Saints right now in that wild card. So not only would you have to have Washington lose 2 more after that, but you'd have to have that whole NFC West. You'd have to including the Rams. including the Rams, because you lost to the Rams. You'd need something crazy to happen there, too. So, I mean, is it possible? Yeah. But it's probably not going to happen. But what the Saints can do is they can keep their season alive for another week. They can keep their season alive for another week if they win Sunday. And I think they can... I think as long as the Saints win, they can keep their season alive without Tampa or Atlanta losing up until Week 17. So, if the Saints win their next two, which I don't think they're going to win either one, but if they won their next two at the end of Week 16 and Christmas time, whatever, you would technically be alive still for the division going into Week 17. You would need still Atlanta and Tampa Bay to lose their final two games. Both of them to lose their final two games, which would require Carolina beating both of them. So that's where you're at. That's where you're at. So, if the Saints can win, you can guarantee that they will be mathematically alive for the playoffs in Week 17 against the Raiders. Now, if the Saints win and the Falcons and Buccaneers lose one game apiece up until Week 18 and the Saints continue to win, the Saints will be alive. Well, scratch it. If the Buccaneers don't lose to Carolina... Anyway, I'm confusing myself. Anyway. Saints just have to win, okay, and hope for some help. That's all I can say about it. Jordan Dog, sorry that happened to you, buddy. If the Saints can win the next two, they can win out. That's my opinion. If you can beat Washington, and then you can go on the road at Lambeau, which I don't think either one is happening. I wouldn't put my money on it. But if you can do both of those things, then you could probably win the rest of your games. And I think Darren Rizzi would definitely be guaranteed the next head coaching job for the Saints. Now, realistically, let's come back down to earth for a second. Do I think he is the next head coach? No. I don't think anybody on that sideline is the next Saints coach. I think the Saints need to go out and get an offensive-minded head coach. And that's all there is to it. I don't think you can, I don't think going for older, middle-aged coaches, it just seems not to be the wave anymore. Unless you're already an established middle-aged coach like Harbaugh or, I don't know, who else we got? Sean McDermott, whatever the Buffalo coach is named. Unless you're like one of those guys that's already like established, I don't think it's in your best interest to go for a middle-aged head coach anymore. Artsy Fartsy, appreciate that, man. Yeah, hit that thumbs up button if you feel generous. Little Christmas gift would be nice, you know. Super chat up above, but you know, that's to everybody's convenience. It's not something that I ask for, you know. But I do appreciate all y'all. Hey, Monster, how you doing? Vikings winning the Super Bowl. If you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And hey, Packer fan 108, appreciate you. Spooderman, is it possible for the Bengals, Spooderman, if you're still here, is it possible for the Bengals to still make the playoffs? Dude, I was talking about this yesterday. Yes. I don't think the Bengals are dead yet, dude. I don't think they're dead yet, and here's the reason. They play the Denver Broncos. They have the Denver Broncos at home. And that's the team that currently holds the final wild card spot in the AFC. Now, you need some things to kind of happen, okay? Because there is a string attached here. The Indianapolis Colts are, I think, along with Miami, but I think Miami's got a pretty tough schedule coming up. They play Houston. I don't think they're going to beat Houston. Miami's got a few tough games left. I think the Miami situation will get handled. But the Colts is a sneaky one, okay? Because you're in a situation where if the Colts beat the Broncos, that's good because the Broncos lost. But that would they'd still be ahead of you. But also, you're looking in the final 3 games that they play. They play Tennessee, they play Jacksonville, and they play some other crap team. The Giants. That's their last 3 games. Tennessee, Jacksonville, and the Giants. Not in any specific order. But that's their final 3 games. I do not like any of those teams' odds against Indianapolis in those final 3 weeks. And now that I think about it, I mean, and I'm just thinking about this, I know Houston swept the Colts, but the Colts are not dead in relation to that division. The Colts aren't dead yet. Houston's got a tough schedule coming up, dude. You play Miami, and I mean, I know I said Miami. That's a tough game for Miami. I don't think Miami will win. But that's still a tough game for the Texans. I mean, that's not a lock. The Texans could lose that game. And then the Texans play Kansas City. I think they play the Steelers again. Or they, not again. They play the Steelers. I don't know who else I think they closed the season with the Jaguars Tennessee. They play Tennessee the final game of the year, and they already lost to Tennessee. So I mean, that's not a lock yet in that division. So Indy's got a very favorable schedule to end the season. Houston's got a tough schedule to end the season. So I think that could potentially be another route for the Bengals. If Houston falls flat on their face, that could be another potential route for them to make it in. But I think I don't, and then you look at Denver's schedule. I don't think Denver, I'd say the Broncos have, out of their last 4 games, because they're 8-5, okay? You got the Colts. That's a tough game. You got the Colts. That's a tough game. You got Cincinnati. That's a tough game. You play Kansas City again. Now, I don't know if Kansas City's going to be playing for a bye. That goes into a whole nother array of rooting. You're probably going to want the Steelers or Houston. It's a confusing scenario, but you're probably going to want Kansas City to lose a game down the line to keep themselves in a position, and you want to cheer for Buffalo too, so that Buffalo and Kansas City are still playing for the 1 seed late in the season in Week 18. That would force Kansas City to play hard against the Broncos. But, yeah, Denver, I mean, look at their schedule. They got Indy. That's tough. They got Cincinnati. That's still tough. They go at the LA Chargers. That's tough. And then they close the season with Kansas City. Dude, I'm not over-exaggerating. I don't know if the Broncos win more than 1 game out of that. And the game they probably might win is against Indy. I don't think they beat the Chargers on the road. Cincinnati can beat them, and then that would keep them alive. And then, based on where Kansas City's at, I don't know if they win that game. So, the AFC wild card, the last AFC wild card, that can get very interesting. That can get very sticky. That can get very, very sticky. So, that's definitely an interesting scenario there. And Tony, dude, for the Dolphins, I mean, a little bit of the same boat, but I don't think y'all play Denver. No, y'all don't play Denver to end the year, so I think you're probably going to need Denver to lose a few games, which I think will happen. But if y'all tied, I don't know if y'all would win the tiebreaker. And then, same thing with you guys, with Indy. with the Colts. You already lost to the Colts, so Miami has that tiebreaker. The Colts have that tiebreaker over you. So you need the Colts to lose another game. That is if the Dolphins were to win out. And I think if the Colts are going to lose another game, it's probably going to be to the Broncos. You have to. I mean, I don't like their chances against Tennessee or Jacksonville or the Giants. I don't like their odds of losing any of those games. So you're probably looking at this week, and then you would have to have Denver lose to the Chargers, Cincinnati, or something of that nature. So Tony, realistically, I think so too. I think if y'all win the rest of y'all's games, I think y'all will be in. You play the Jets again. I think you should be able to beat them. I know that was a tough game, but you should be able to beat the Jets. You play Houston. I don't know who your other two games are, but I mean, so yeah, that's it. That's the playoff scenarios going forward. I don't think any other teams are. Let's see, the NFC. Chicago's pretty much. I mean, they already lost to Washington. I think they're eliminated. No, are they? Yeah, I think they're. Yeah, they are eliminated. Chicago's been eliminated. The bottom feeders for the NFC, like that are still alive, like would be the Saints and Dallas. And the Saints have that leverage over Dallas right now, so they'd yeah, that's pretty much it. No, I don't think Dallas is gonna get in. Dallas would need. They're in the same boat as the Saints in relation to like they need teams from the NFC West to like fall flat on their face. And they already lost to the Niners. So they're kind of in the same boat. Like, they already lost to the Niners. They beat Washington. That would be the one thing they have going for them. But you would need all those teams in the NFC West, except for the NFC West winner. You would probably need all those teams to finish, and not counting San Francisco. San Francisco, you need them to finish with a worse record than you. But you would need, like, the other teams in the NFC West to finish, that's not the West winner, to finish with the same record as you or less. And you'd have to have Washington. You would have to have Washington finish with the same record as you as well, which you play them again, you can give them another loss. You'd probably need them to lose to Atlanta, which could happen. And Philadelphia, they play Philly again, so that's also another thing. I think Washington's easiest game for the rest of the year is probably this one coming up against us. If Washington doesn't win against the Saints, I think they're in trouble. I think they're in deep trouble if they don't beat the Saints. No, there's no game on Horrid Henry. It's Tuesday. What game is on Tuesday? Yeah, me too, Snakebite. I don't think they're going to beat San Francisco. I think they're going to lose to the 49ers, but that doesn't really help us that much. Yeah, the Bills should have won that game, dude. Wasted a career day for Josh Allen. So sad to see that. But with that being said, folks, I got to get going. I got some things I got to take care of. I'm about to go into Barnes & Nobles, and I got a movie I'm going to see at 6:15, so you guys take it easy. I'm out. Like and subscribe, okay? For anybody not here. What's up, Austin? How you doing? Like and subscribe before you leave. And, yeah, that's about it. I'll see you guys next time. Y'all take it easy. See you, Land of Sports. I'll see you, Land of Sports. Sir Valor. All right, guys. Take it easy, guys. Nehemiah. If I pronounced it wrong, I'm sorry. Just a Chill Guy, Tony, all you guys, man. Hit that subscribe button. Hope to see you next time.